I was 5 years old, dressed up for church, a little white church on 8th Street in downtown Traverse City. I was holding my dad's hand, getting ready to go up on stage and sing a special song that I had been practicing for weeks. And on my way up the stairs, I turned around and I said, "Daddy, I want to do it by myself." And he was surprised, but he turned around and sat down on the front row, and I went up there all by myself, and I sang all 3 verses. I had memorized all the words, 5 years old. And that's when it started for me. I loved music. I loved singing. It was such a big part of my life. And all throughout elementary school, my family visited Nashville for every spring. And I got to see just the big city. You know, we live in small town Traverse City around here. So Nashville, it's a big deal for me. And I got to visit the Grand Ole Opry, see my favorite country stars perform. I got to go to the museums and see all the history behind the music there. It was the greatest. It was magical for me. And when I went to high school, I started playing guitar. I absolutely loved it. I even started writing, and I love poetry and writing songs. It was an outlet for me in high school, and I got to meet new people that way. I got to just be a part of bigger things, and I loved playing guitar. And it came around to time for me to sign up for college, and I knew pretty much where I wanted to go. I had no idea what I wanted to major in. So I kind of went with something random. I love animals too. So my first major was animal science. Now, my first semester in college, downstate, Andrews University, I was an animal science major, and I actually got to go to Nashville with my dad to fulfill one of his dreams, which was to record an album. So I got to go down there in the recording studio. It was Nashville again, so I got these tingly, magical feelings. And it was great. I met the manager of the studio. We got to work with the producers and the engineers that helped make the music sound really good. And it was the greatest experience of my life. And I thought to myself, sitting on the couch, super comfy couch in the recording studio there, I was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this someday. You know, music is my life. But it didn't make any sense to be an animal science major or anything. So when I got back, I was like, I'll be a music major. I had a great music department at the university, so I did classical guitar. That's all they had close to what I maybe wanted to do. So I decided to go for it. Well, a couple weeks into the classical guitar lessons and piano lessons and music theory classes, I realized that this was way too much for me. I loved music, but these people were like Beethoven and Bach, and I know that's some people's cup of tea, but it wasn't mine. And so I decided to switch majors. There was something else out there. It just didn't feel right this time. So I switched to religion. I was raised a Christian. It's a big part of my life. My faith is really important to me. I was like, I'll be a youth pastor. You know, I love young people. It's fun and exciting. I'm a young person, so it made sense. So I was a religion major, and it didn't take me very long to realize that I was not pastor material. I am not the kind of person to get up and just be a pastor. It wasn't what I wanted to do. So I, as fast as I could, ran out of that department. And last spring, my 4th semester of college, I was an elementary education major. At that point, I had just decided I need a major, and I need one fast, one that's going to get me a job, get me through my life. At this point, that's all I thought I needed. So it was stressful, but so elementary education. Tried it out, did 30 hours of observation in classrooms, watching little kids blow snot and Kleenexes and crayon everywhere. It wasn't for me. I worked at summer camp, and if I can't handle them at summer camp sometimes, doing the fun stuff, I don't know how I'll ever be a teacher. So at the end of last summer, I realized I was in quite a spot. I had no idea what I wanted to major in. This was going to be my 5th major once I switched. 4 semesters of college already. Tons of federal loans. It was so stressful. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I decided finally, out of desperation, to just take the semester off. I just stopped. I unenrolled. No more loans. Just give me some time to think. In this last semester, I just lived at home here in Traverse City. It's my hometown. I was born and raised here. And I stayed involved in my church, and one weekend I sang a song up front, and my friend came up to me afterwards. She's a psychologist, really close family friend of ours, and she said, Maria, we need to talk. I was like, okay, sure. So we got together the next week, we sat down, and she was like, there is something in you when you are up on stage that is different than any other time I've ever seen you. You're happy up there, and I can see the passion in you when you sing. And I was like, you got all that from just a song? Like, all right. It just kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. But she said, you need to look into music again. I know that you were a music major before, but this is really who you were meant to be. And there's other aspects of the music industry besides classical theory. I was like, okay, I believe you. So I took it home. I went home and I looked at every music college out there, whether it be instrument or business, anything. I felt like I looked at everything. I was just losing hope. Phone calls, I'd sign up for email notifications. I get phone calls at 7 in the mornings from administrations departments in Colorado. I'm like, you do realize there's a time change, right? Like, it's so early. It was really frustrating. So it was coming around November. People are starting to sign up for classes for spring semester. If I don't enroll soon, I'm going to have to start paying my loans off. This is a big problem. I was out of ideas. Somebody came up to me and told me that Ferris State University has a music industry program. It's like, really? They're really close to Traverse City compared to the other college I was at. So I was like, okay, well, I emailed them. They emailed me back, told me to call this person. So I called her, and she was the nicest, most helpful administrative person I think I've ever talked to. And she didn't call me at 7 in the morning, so I appreciated that already. But she helped me figure out everything. She told me what classes to take here at NMC this semester. She told me when I was going to graduate from Ferris. It was great. I couldn't believe it. It had finally made sense. But if my friend hadn't come up to me and told me that music is where I should be and that I can follow my dreams of being part of the music industry, I wouldn't be here today. I would probably still be at home trying to figure everything out. But she made it possible for me to see that even though I want to be part of the music industry, which is far-fetched, I do admit that, but not all of our dreams have to be forgotten. When you were 5 years old, what did you dream about? Being a firefighter, a policeman? You want to be a part of the music industry too? There are so many just important things in our lives that we forget about when we get to college. We don't know what to major in, and in a panic we pick a major that's just going to get us a job and get us through life. But there's so much more to life than that. If you have a dream and you feel like you can't accomplish it, or you live in small town Traverse City and there's not a lot of opportunities for you here, don't limit yourself. Don't let other people tell you what you can and cannot do. Because if you take the steps and you have the motivation, you can get anywhere you need to be in life. It is possible. And that's what I'm doing, and I encourage all of you. Take a second look at what you're doing. Is it something that you love? Be happy about what you're majoring in, and you'll be the happiest person in the world. Everybody else will be jealous, because you'll actually love your job.